Welcome, everybody. I'm Dr. Mocha, the host of That Part, and you know, this and that and every part. We talk about all the parts. This show is about community conversations to inspire, motivate, and educate. And today I am in the Bronx, the Boogie Down Bronx, and I am with a mom who has suffered the loss of her son prematurely. By the hands of somebody who just thought that it was their right to do that. He was murdered about 10 years ago, and we are out here to celebrate his legacy. So we're going to bring her out, and she's going to tell us a little bit about it. And again, I hope that this motivates you. You get a little bit of education, and I hope that you are inspired by it after you hear her story, after you hear how she got through it and how she is continuing to get up, lift her head up off the pillow every single day. Hi.
Hi, how are you,
I
Mocha?
am well. I am well. Thank you for welcoming me out here,
Thank you for
being in
coming to the
this
Bronx.
sacred space. It's not an easy place to be, talking about a child that was taken from you by the hands of somebody who just decided, well, that's what they wanted to do. But today we want to celebrate him.
Yeah.
We come out to celebrate his legacy. You got a whole host of people out here. So very, very excited about that
Amen.
part, that
Amen.
whole part.
Amen.
Um, Tell us a little bit about you, and then tell us a little bit about your son.
Well, I am Ina. I am a single mom. That's my title. When we have our children, mom is the first title. The
Yes,
most important
yes.
title in the world, right?
Mom.
A mom of two beautiful boys,
Hmm.
Teddy and Jalen.
Yes.
Now, thinking 2 more days before my baby dies. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? One more
Hmm.
day before he dies.
Hmm.
And you always wonder, and you want to always be there for your children. This is our job. It's to protect our children. That's our job.
Hmm.
Not everybody does it successfully, but I was born to take care of my children, and that I felt my purpose. And so it was hard to then mother Jalen.
Sure, because now you have this 10
I
year old
had this
and
10
you
year
have
old.
to keep yourself together,
Let me
so to
tell you
speak, for
something.
him.
First of all, you're scared.
Sure.
So I stopped working. I would take him to work, and I would literally sit in McDonald's
And
for
wait for
eight
him.
hours and wait for him to get out of school and take him home. And I did that the whole year. The whole year I did it. You know. Um, then I wanted him to graduate, to have some semblance of normalcy.
Hmm.
You know, but that's a lot for a whole year.
A whole year.
Because he
Yes.
died on September 20th, so that it was all the way up until June. I was still taking Jalen, to school
Eight
every day.
hours sitting
Yeah,
there waiting
and
to
I would wait.
protect him, to make sure he was safe. So they tell you to wait,
They
then
tell
they
you
take you to another room.
they take you to another room, and they tell you that he didn't make it, and you don't understand what does that mean? What does that mean? I'm sorry, his heart had too much. When he stabbed him, he punctured the heart. So
Hmm.
they gave him the blood transfusion, whatever, but the heart was too badly damaged. He was 19 years old. Like, what are you talking about? You know,
Figure 19, he's strong.
he went to school, Mocha, and you know what I'm saying? He wasn't in the club. He wasn't, whatever. This was in front of his school. They was at dismissal time. So when school's dismissed, it's supposed to be school safety officers outside, police supposed to be outside. You send your kids to school not to get killed,
Yeah.
And these kids, they were all just standing around watching. He had a fight with this one boy, and he fought the boy. He won, and the boyfriend jumped him, and they all just jumped him. While all these kids just stood around and watched.
Mm.
And then the boy stabbed him in his heart and they ran. And so as a mother, I always feel like, was he scared? Was he looking for his mother? You
Of course.
understand? Because I wasn't there for him.
You wonder if he was calling for you, if he
Oh,
suffered.
I have PTSD today because it's always, especially now as the days get closer.
You were talking about every day with Jalen, taking him to school, and then soon after that, you had to have services, funeral services for
I
him.
ended up cremating him because I couldn't bear leaving him in the ground. So he's home. My whole thing is wherever I go, my baby's gonna go.
He's
You
there.
know what I mean? And I have some of him, around my neck.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So when you need a little bit of strength, you can touch
Let
that.
me tell you something. Even though being a Christian and Christians believe that when you die, you sleep um, until you see God again, until you resurrect. I couldn't be able to live my life not knowing that I couldn't interact with Teddy again. So I live a little bit of that, but I have my own to be able to understand. I hear from him, and so the way Teddy talks to me is through music. You know what I mean? All the time when I'm thinking something and I need him to talk to me, a song will come on that both of us knows that the lyrics will I know that he's talking to me. You know, so he's with me all
All
the
the time.
time.
So how
Yeah.
is it that you're able to get your head up day after day, off the pillow, keep your feet moving, and be in school nonetheless?
No, but we're talking 10 years.
Yes.
Number one, I was in a psychiatric ward for 10 years. I mean, for 10 years, the blood of Jesus, for 10 days.
Okay.
Um, Again, when I go back to my mother and Jalen, um, although I took care of Jalen physically, I met his needs and stuff like that. Years later, he did share with me that he felt like he lost his mother and his brother
Sure.
because I wasn't the same.
Yeah, because at this point he's
Yeah,
grieving the loss of a relationship, the
right.
health of the relationship with you.
Right. And
Hmm.
first of all, they were very, very, very close. So he misses his brother, and then sadness is my first go-to, emotion. So I stayed sad. You know what I mean? I had funeral flowers in my house for half a year that I just refused to throw away.
Hmm.
So everything was just he lived behind Teddy's death. And a lot of things was not really to this day able to be made up. To be quite honest, he has a lot of anger with me because he feels like I wasn't there. And when I say I'm sorry, I don't believe you because a real mother would have been. And, I mean, these are conversations that he said, and now he's
Sure.
20. He's about to be
Well,
21.
he's hurting.
He's still hurting,
Hmm.
and a lot of things. I'm able, from an intellectual standpoint, be able to grasp what he's saying. You know what I mean? He's hurting, and that's where he's coming from. But it still hurts because I didn't. I mean, first of all, I feel bad that I wasn't there for my child. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, but you should understand, Jalen. But no, he really shouldn't understand. And I hate when people say to him, "Oh, you need to, be nice to your mother." You know what I mean? You should understand because she lost her son. He lost his brother.
Yeah.
You know, and so people put a lot of burden on a still 10-year-old because
That
that's when
part.
his life stopped at 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From 10 now to 20, it wasn't a natural growth, and that's the most difficult time for a child anyway. You know what I mean? And so, um, maybe about 4 years ago, um, I realized that I needed to do something, but I wasn't ready. I've been on disability. I haven't worked a job since Teddy's murder. I have not punched a clock.
Hmm.
I'm on disability. PTSD,
Of
panic
course.
disorder,
Of
severe
course.
depression, medication, and see my doctor, every week or whatever. It's still real, you know. But I'm able to help people with mental, especially even in the church, as far as mental illness. Mental illness is just as real as a physical illness.
That's right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
And you respect a veteran or a veteran with PTSD. Well, respect the other person, the layman person with PTSD, because it's real.
Yeah,
You
PTSD is
know,
not just a vet
it,
disorder. It's real,
it's very
right? You can
real.
have PTSD from losing a pet, from losing a job, from domestic violence, from
Ex-
some other types of
Exactly,
injuries, of course,
exactly,
losing a child, right? So it it is real, and it is worth paying attention to. It
absolutely.
is worth verbalizing and letting people know, hey, this is what
And
I'm
educating them,
dealing with.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed.
Hmm.
I may not go around and yell it to the person, you know what I mean? But if we have any type of relationship going, I'm gonna let you know. Because this time, even we went out one time with the girlfriend to celebrate her birthday, and I just started crying, and I just couldn't even enjoy myself. You know what I mean? So the
Sure.
people in my inner circle, they have to understand. You know what I mean? Ian is not crazy. I have nothing against you. You know what I mean? If I've just become standoffish or whatever case, it's something that's happening in that moment. It may remind me of
Of
when
that.
I was with Teddy in that
That's
me
right.
and Teddy and Jalen might have been in this restaurant at this time, whatever case, and something to pop back into my head. But then I'm back on 56th Street, and I'm there like if I was there that day, and I wasn't even there, at the actual, but
When
I
he
feel
passed
like
away.
I was.
Has his murderers, and have they been brought to justice?
If you call it
If we
that,
call it justice, yes.
um, it was four of them.
Hmm.
The three that jumped him, gang assault, 5 years. They
Five
they did
years.
5 years,
Okay.
and the murderer, manslaughter, 15 years.
Okay.
So, in 3.5 years from now, he'll be able to have a regular life,
Hmm.
and my child, is gone
Wow.
forever.
Every day you're
Right.
reliving this.
So, um, he was just always, so I actually suffered from mental illness even before Teddy's death.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because my mom died from a drug overdose. When I was 8, so it's always stuff going on. So Teddy would just come and just rub my feet.
He was a caregiver.
He was
Sounds
he
like.
was such a epitaph, oh my God, when somebody's empathetic,
Hmm.
epitaph. Um, his funeral had over 300 people for a 19-year-old. You know what I mean? And it was so many stories of people just saying Teddy was so good and caring and
How
there for
much they
him.
love him.
Yes, you know what I mean? And Teddy, Teddy was there for me when I went to school. And Teddy was there for and it was really wonderful to hear that it wasn't just me,
Hmm.
you know? And with his brother, I was never that parent to say, when you're going somewhere, you got to take your brother. I didn't, no, he didn't have him. I had him. But he didn't play that. He would grab him. Come on, Jalen. Come on, Jalen. Come on, Jalen.
Took care of his little brother.
And he was awesome. What I mean, was he perfect? No. You know what I mean? He was an inner city kid. But he was a great person.
Wow. Thank you for sharing him with us, with all of us.
Yeah.
What do you want to tell other people who have gone through something similar, who have suffered the loss of any person that they love dearly, especially a child? What would you like to, what message would you like to get out to the viewers, to the world about how to survive this and how to keep, how to stay faithful, how to stay hopeful, and about Teddy's legacy? What do you want to talk to the viewers? Tell them what you want them to know about his legacy and how to survive, how to keep going.
Well, 3 months after Teddy's death, I kept saying to God, "Why my child?" And I sat on the steps one day and I heard God, just like if He's talking in my ear right now. And He said, why not your child?
And then there's
Why
that.
my child? You know what I
That's
mean?
deep.
Called Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? And first I was like, well, okay. You know what I'm saying? How you know, whatever. But He said, you're going to mother thousands of teddies. It's what God said to me.
Teddy's house.
And He put the vision into my spirit. And this is before the COVID, before the whatever, all the different things, whatever.
Thank you for having me here and welcoming me into this sacred space with you to share this momentous occasion with you, to share um, Teddy's legacy, sharing his memory and all the festivities. You have a lot of people out here today, so that's very exciting. You got a
Yeah.
lot of love. So why don't you tell me a little bit about you? Tell me a little bit about Ina.
Um, I'm in survival mode. I'm a 50-year-old woman, um, dealing mentally every day, trying to, definitely see a new day
Hmm.
the next day. But by the grace of God, it's been good. It's been, been well. Every day is better than
We have an audience.
I see.
That's the beauty of live
That's the
TV,
beauty,
right?
amen, and
Yes.
chatty, check, my
Yes.
favorite people. Um, every day is better than the next, only because one, I know I'm going to see my baby again in heaven. I'm a Christian. You know what I mean? So, I do believe that I'm going to see him. Um, I am a grad student.
What are you in school
I
for?
am I am in school. I just received my bachelor's in business
That
administration.
part.
Yes, cum laude. Okay, with the
Hey, that
concentration
whole
in
that
business
whole
law.
part.
Okay,
Hmm.
and I'm getting my master's in business administration, human resource.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
What do you hope to do with that?
I have an organization already started called Teddy's House, which is going to be for youth age 12 to 21, dealing with so many of their issues. These children now, that's a whole nother
A
topic,
whole other part.
But I'm here for the kids in the many capacities. My thing with what God told me, and I know that it's a whole nother conversation. God told me that I still have work to do while I'm here.
Mhm.
And so the work that I feel that I have to do is still to help the children.
Okay.
These children need help, need the help. So
Every life
yeah,
has its purpose,
yes,
right?
yes.
Yes. Tell me about that night that you got the call that your baby, or that day.
Um, I was at work, and one of the kids, I was working in the membership department in the YMCA in Manhattan, and one of the youth, because I used to work at the YMCA, I used to work in the youth department, came and told me that Teddy was stabbed, and
Take your time. This is difficult.
again, you don't even think about the extent of it, So my thing is, okay, let me grab Jalen. Jalen used to come there after school, um, to do with the activities and stuff.
Jalen's
And
your other
so
son.
Jalen is Teddy's little brother. Yes, he was my youngest. And so Jalen was 10 at the time. And so we couldn't get a cab. Oh, we couldn't get the bus. Like, wasn't no bus was coming. No, we couldn't get a cab. That's what it was. I was trying to get a cab. We couldn't get a cab.
New York.
Right.
You trying to get
We
you
tried.
heard about your baby and you trying to get a
I'm trying
cab
to
to
get
go
a
see
cab to
about
the
him.
hospital and couldn't get a cab. We're on the bus. And I go on, they already got the story on the internet, youth was stabbed in front of a school. It's already on the internet, you know what I mean? And I'm
Wow,
like,
wow.
they're talking about my baby, So we get to the hospital. Um, he's in surgery, so I never got a chance to see him. But I had saw him earlier that day
Hmm.
because before he went to the school. He had came by my job and gave me some paperwork to hold for him. And told me, "Mommy, I love you," And I see you later. He's supposed to come back and take his brother to the Mets game.
Oh. Hmm. See the New York Mets. Mhm.
So we're waiting and waiting. It's like 3 hours, and I'm praying. Let me tell you something. I'm a prayer warrior. You understand?
Yeah.
And praying and praying every prayer, and I'm just knowing that he's going to be all right. You understand? Because I don't know the extent. I
Hmm.
don't know what happened at this point. I just know that my baby got stabbed, and you know what I mean. Oh, you must have had a fight, da da da. And so when they come and they tell you to come into another room to talk to you,
Hmm.
God had gave me the vision for Teddy's house, and Teddy's house is a youth center. And I say is because I'm speaking those things are not as if they're already in existence. So in my mind, first of all, it's already incorporated. It's
That part.
already a 501c3 organization. So yes, so it's already done here. But we have a New York City school building that I just don't have the keys to yet.
Okay. Okay.
Amen.
Okay.
But my dream is to get a New York City school building. We will have programs for education, for careers, for residents, for housing, for mentoring, um, for mental health, for family services, and it's all built around these youth. And my mindset is because you cannot keep complaining about what the youth are doing wrong in our next generation if we're not preparing them for anything.
That
You
part right
understand?
there.
And I think
Yes.
about these four boys, and I think about, even their families going back and forth to court. You know what I mean? Do I wish harm on this young man who killed my son? No, that's somebody's child.
Sure.
Do I want him to do more time? Absolutely, because he made that decision that day to walk with a knife. It wasn't a gun, but you know how hard you gotta stab somebody to puncture their heart.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I want him to be in himself and think about my son the rest of his life. But for the most part, I want some type of structure for the rest of these youth. I have another child who's out here who's 20, who's about to be 21 years old. That we need to be able to not just to say, graduate from school or, go to school, get a high school diploma. Then what?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Then what? Then what after that? They need to do something. Do you want to say hello to my baby? My baby is here. Come say hello to.
Oh, this is well. Thank you. This is the beauty of live. We can get all kinds of shots.
This is
So,
this is Mocha, and
hi,
we're
nice
doing
to
an
meet you.
interview.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to
Hey,
meet you.
yes, yes. Glad
Thank
to
you for
meet
taking the
you.
time to talk to her and all that.
Yes, yes. Anything you want to say to the viewers about
Um,
your brother?
nah, not really.
No, not so much.
She's definitely
Okay.
gonna give y'all the whole rundown of raising our babies, single mothers,
Yes,
all that.
yes.
But we here today to celebrate, though.
That's right.
Keep his name alive.
Thank you
I'm a,
for joining us.
oh, of course, of course.
And thank you for having me here.
Oh, it's really all her. You know what I'm saying? I don't make one thing. It's
Got all that New York accent coming out of there. Yes.
thank you. I'm about to
Thank
be
you.
right here though.
Okay. All right. So, any final things you want to say to the viewers? What can we be expecting of you? What can we expect of Teddy's house? When do you think that maybe we'll be able to come out and do an interview there, take a tour, take our viewers
Please
on a tour? And
do.
if they're in New York, anywhere in New York, how they can come by
Please
and
do.
see it?
Actually, what my next course is, step, is to number one, build a foundation, as far as what our next 6 months looks like, what our next year looks like. So, um, right now, I will finish school by the summertime. So by then, I want to then actually be starting some of the programs. So I'll be looking for contractors, to be able to start doing the different programs. People want to do the mental health program. They may want to do, um, literacy programs, credit repair, financial literacy, all these different things. But everything needs money. Amen.
Yes, yes. Well,
Eh,
we are going to pray that it
Yeah.
comes. We're going to speak it into
In the name,
existence.
in the
We're going
name
to
of
look
Jesus,
forward to coming to
But
celebrate
yeah,
with you,
yeah, yeah.
celebrate the
But
opening of
but
that.
you had to ask the
With
question. I
that.
wanted to say real quick as far as what continues to drive me. For me, it's my faith in God,
Mhm.
my faith in knowing that God is continuing to keep me every day. Everyone has something, whatever it is that you hold on to. Just know that your child is still with you. It's unnatural to bury your child. The,
Yes.
the,
Just don't
it
expect
doesn't
that.
matter whether your child was sick, whatever the case is, it's unnatural. But you're not alone. You're not alone. I met a lot of wonderful mothers on Facebook, the Facebook groups. You know what I mean? So please utilize stuff that's out there.
Those
You
Facebook
know,
groups. They can
yes,
be helpful for some things. Social
yes,
media. Take the social media. If any of our viewers want to reach out to you, is there a way that they can reach you? Any mom that might be going through something that may need some inspiration, may need some motivation, some education? Is there a way
absolutely.
that they can reach you?
Absolutely. You can reach me at enagriffin@gmail.com. That is my email. I'm on Facebook, Ena Griffin. I'm on
And
TikTok,
and that's
Instagram,
ENA.
ENAGRIFFIN at gmail.com.
Yes.
Um,
It's okay. Tell the people. Tell the people. Well, listen, I'm so grateful, so very grateful that you allow me in this sacred space with you to come and share this moment, to get to know your son through you. And I'm grateful for the message of hope that you share with the rest of us, because
it's
it's just not easy to push through
not.
when you're going through something, and to suffer the loss of a son is devastating. So yeah, I
I'm
just
appreciative
appreciate
of
you.
you.
I'm
Thank
going to be
you.
praying for you. I'm going to share this with you. We're going to speak Teddy's house into existence
In the
right
name
away,
of
and then we're
Jesus.
going to come back and we're going to take a tour through Teddy's house with Miss Ena and her family. And yes, we're going to go from there. So to everybody out there, I appreciate you tuning in as usual. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and look out for the next episode. But we'll talk about that later.
Amen.
Enough.
Thank you
Yes.
so
Oh, you
much.
got to get up out that chair. You done threw your phone and everything.
Thank you.
Listen up, Teddy. What kind of person is Teddy?
He he was very strong. It was funny. I feel like Teddy was put on this earth to take care of me.
Oh, that's interesting.
I from a young boy. I had Teddy when he was 21. When he was 21. When I was 21, he was taking care of me, right?
Well, that take you back. Yeah, when you was
Uh,
21.
and
I mean, when you were, and I turned around and said the same thing. When you were
when
21.
I was 21,
Yes.
and I just can't remember a time when Teddy didn't take care of me. When Teddy was always so strong, so can take anything, but at the same time was very sensitive. His father was actually in his life, but he wasn't one of the most loving type of people. He was very, you know what I mean. I remember when Teddy was a baby, he used to watch him, and my baby almost fell on the floor one time. He was like 6, 7 months old. He was rolling. So about, well, if he roll enough time on the floor, he'll know not to do that no more. And I'm like, what the hell?